So, on yesterday's game dev stream, I went through several ideas I have for the next game I want to make, and got lots of great feedback from the chat. I had 8 ideas to begin with, and ended up dismissing some and combining others to have 5 ideas to choose from in the end. One of the factors I wanted to consider from the very beginning is how to get eyes on the game. It needs to have an immediate appeal, something you can hear about in one sentence or watch 3 seconds of a GIF and be interested to learn more. The chat also brought up considerations like accessibility, among other things.
Put rats into the game. Okay, good. There we go.
The first idea was Foodomancer. This would be a chill game about using magic to grow food and restore a cursed land.
I really like the flat shaded poly aesthetic, and I think exploring a world like that would be really cool. And being able to see these kind of low poly plants with little low poly fruits coming off them and you harvest them. With some survival elements and a first person flat shaded aesthetic. I like this idea a lot, but it is potentially a huge project, and it's 3D, which is something I've not tried yet. Dog UFO. These are mostly placeholder names, by the way. You would definitely look further into a game called Dog UFO.
The premise is that you're a dog being taken for a walk by your owner when you get abducted by aliens, and you need to escape your imprisonment and rescue the owner. Originally, I had envisioned it as a side-scrolling game looking a bit like Kingdom, but it could also work as a point-and-click adventure.
Side-scrolling game where a dog has to rescue its owner. It's a sequel to Sleepwalker. Yeah, you're right. I just realised it's a sequel to Sleepwalker. But he wouldn't be asleep. He'd be like in a cell.
We talked about ideas like smell detection as a mechanic, and looked at some existing dog-based games for inspiration.
It has the instant appeal. It's like you show a GIF of a dog being abducted by aliens, right? I'm in.
Fantasy fishing. This would be a game in a fantasy setting that is all about fishing. As far as I know, there isn't a game like this yet. There are fantasy games with fishing in them, but not one exclusively about that. So this could have a niche appeal. But I think it might be better as something integrated into the Foodomancer game, even though that just makes that project even bigger. Mushroom Knight. You play as a sentient mushroom in a roguelike action platformer.
I just like the idea of a mushroom character who is a knight, so like a little mushroom dude with a sword and shield. I realise this is just Toad with a sword and shield.
When the character dies, they regrow from spores and inherit some characteristics. I envisioned this as an open-ended game without a main storyline, only progression through the various guilds that related to abilities in-game.
So this one is harder to sell. It's like, you're a mushroom guy and you die and respawn. It's like, yeah.
Apparently there is a game with a mushroom protagonist, and this led to some distraction.
Look, there's a rat! No, it's a possum! There's a possum! Dreddy, you gotta play this game! There's mushroom people and a possum. Mushroom Knight is definitely a title, yeah. And I think it could be quite aesthetically pleasing, you know, and I tell you what, the 3-second GIF is dying and then turning into spores and then popping out of the ground again. He's a fun guy. Oh!
Neon Dungeons. This is a rather vague idea to make a standard fantasy RPG, but with a neon laser aesthetic. Ultimately, this doesn't have a lot of depth and didn't generate much interest. Space Scavenger. A dungeon crawler set on spaceships with tactical combat. I compared it to Space Wrecked, a game I made a video about on my gameplay channel. I found the game quite compelling, but it had awful combat mechanics.
Space Wrecked gave me heart palpitations. I had to play it. No one else played this game. No one in the world's played it.
So the game would be about navigating these spaceships and seeking out particular items, fighting enemies, repairing or sabotaging systems to progress. One concern is this game is somewhat similar to the game Heat Signature, although I think there are enough differences to make it a unique experience. Whizbig. This would be a game in the style of Wonder Boy 3, a platforming action RPG. The difference being the player is a wizard with highly customizable spells, with lots of potential to chain effects and have all kinds of crazy emergent behaviour.
I just like this idea of being able to really customize the magic effects that you can create, and in a way that could almost be game breaking in a hilarious way. So yeah, so the problem with this idea is it's not easy to explain what makes it interesting.
We'll come back to this one shortly. Space Cards. A deck building game about spaceship combat, like Slay the Spire but with spaceships. This has a lot of potential for using sci-fi concepts and tropes in the card designs, things that affect power, weapons, shields, along with the standard effects like direct damage. This could be a fairly complex and deep strategy game.
And I really like computer card games for some reason, and I think the abstraction of the cards makes for some interesting design and play challenges, because you You don't just do an attack, you have a card which has some kind of layered abstract effect.
The interface would show the bridge of a ship with the enemy ship on the view screen and side panels showing data with the cards at the bottom. However, the idea came up in chat to combine the cards mechanic with the spell customization of WizBig.
Take some ideas from the Wizard one and combine cards to create spells. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Every card would be a spell component, and that makes it more visually appealing. Schmebulok. I know how to spell Schmebulok, damn it.
Then the idea of combining this with Mushroom Knight.
I could make the Mushroom Knight a spellcaster, or a Mushroom Wizard. It's Mushroom Knight. And why does a knight have to have a sword, right? Okay, so what is a knight? A knight is someone who has been knighted. Traditionally, they had a sword and armor and a shield because there wasn't magic in the real world. Sorry.
Voting. I decided to run a poll and take votes on the shortlist we came up with.
It's all down to you now. Whatever you decide, I have to do it. No, it's not quite like that. I'm just gauging interest.
This turned out to be more confusing than anything. The vote was split pretty evenly between the possibilities. But I guess that means they're all pretty good ideas, or at least equally bad.
Okay, we have quite a large split. This is unhelpful. Everyone has voted almost completely evenly. So, Mushroom Knight / Wishbig tied second place was a three-way tie between the Space Combat Deck Builder, Foodomancer, and the Spaceship Dungeon Crawler. Right at the bottom was Dog UFO. Let's do another poll, because we can, because I'm excited by this. Game Dev Knockout Tournament, exactly, yeah. Space Combat Deck Building one. Mushroom Knight went right to the bottom. How is this possible? This is too interesting. I'm going to have to do another one. Okay, oh, look at that. We have a tie. But Space Combat Deck Building got knocked out. This is bonkers. Okay, Spaceship Dungeon Crawler. Just want to see a drunken, spell-slinging, poker-obsessed gnome wearing the hat of a dead fungus child who calls himself a knight. I think that's what we all want. Should I make a prototype for each of these? And then see what we think.
So, I'm going to start work on prototyping one or more of these ideas. And in the next stream, I'll be showing what I've come up with and continuing to develop the idea. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you at the next stream.
How much up could an updog look if an updog... Oh, fuck.